Hello, Jen here with a page kit layout for you today. This is the page kits that I got from Scrap Shots. It's the Sunny Days collection from Simple Stories, and when I did my unboxing, well, it's been a few weeks now since I did that one. I said that I would go ahead and put these kits together with you so that you could kind of see what all comes in a page kit, how quickly and easily they kind of piece together, what the instructions are like. I thought I would go ahead and show it to you. So I am going to show you this one first. I did this one pretty quickly. I didn't do it in real time because I was getting it done to be able to give to Sandy so that she could take it with her to the Great Canadian Scrapbook Carnival in Edmonton. So that was actually over a month ago, but I still wanted to show you the process of doing it and kind of how I went through. So I do have this sped up. I don't actually scrap this quickly, but it did come together very, very quickly. So I think this video is it's about 18 minutes long, and this probably took me, by the time I, popped everything out, or even before that, by the time I opened up the package, started to sort everything. You can see here I pre-punched all of the pieces because they all come on these sheets of paper that you get, 12 by 12 sheets, where you can just punch out all the die cuts and the layers and stuff like that. I kind of did all of that ahead of time. So with all of that kind of stuff, and then realizing that I didn't have pictures, in my head I kind of assumed that I was going to get a mat for every picture, and then reading through the instructions I realized that a couple of the spots are just the actual picture being stuck onto the background with no mat. And so I went back and I cut some white cardstock, like you can see here, to represent my photos, because I didn't quite know what photos I wanted to use, and I definitely wanted to get these out and done for the carnival so that Sandy could have some samples of what the page kits look like. So long story short, from start to finish, these actually probably took me 40 minutes to do. But if I had my photos and was kind of ready to go on that front, I think I could have got these done as quickly as you see me doing right here, because I only have this sped up 2 times, or times 2, I guess I should say. And so I'm a slow scrapper, but now that I know how to put the pages together, I think I could do them pretty quickly. So if you had a bunch of page kits like this, I think you could probably whip them all together very, very quickly. Even somebody who doesn't necessarily scrapbook all that often, I think you could definitely put them together very quickly. So you can see you get the background pages, which already come slightly embellished. So some of those layers, those larger layers, are already put together for you on that background. Then you do get some larger photo mats. You get a lot of strips and the different layers that you're going to put into your background. Then you get a bunch of die cuts that are all on little punch out sheets, and you get some chipboard. So that is what is in the kits, and they come together. So it's 4 pages in total, 2 double page layouts, and everything comes together. But then you have this set of instructions, so you can see that you have each set of instructions per page. So you do you can do it in whatever order you want, but I did the left side of the page entirely, and then I moved to the right side of the page. That's not usually something I do when I do 2-page layouts. I kind of because I'm building my design as I go, I kind of have both pages available and work a little bit on one and then maybe go and do a little bit on the other side just to keep everything balanced and cohesive. Oops, I lost a piece here. I have to go and find it. But yeah, this one you can definitely do just one side at a time. That's the piece I lost, that what does that say? Life is good. Yes, I found it. But because it's broken up that way, you could definitely take these pages and make them 4 completely separate pages if you wanted. You don't have to have them as 2 double page layouts. You could have them as 4 separate pages. You could have them as 1 double page layout and then 2 other separate pages. Whatever you want to do, it's very flexible. The other thing that I found time consuming, but again, just for me personally, and this wouldn't necessarily happen for you, is that because I knew at some point I want to get some photos in there, I'm only adhering all of my elements down where they won't interfere with where I want to place my photos. So as soon as I pick the photos that I want to put in there, I can go back in and adhere everything down properly. But until then, I'm making sure that I can kind of lift things up and scooch them around a little bit to get my photos on there and make them, look nice and not have to peel everything off and potentially rip paper. You know the drill. So that does take a little bit more time. And so really, with these kits, all I had to do was add my own adhesive. I went one step further and actually added some foam tape just because I had it and because I have had experience in scrapbooking. I kind of, can take it that next step up. And so you can definitely do that with these kits if you want. You can mix and match the embellishments. You can completely change the designs altogether. You can flip them around if you don't, for example, if you don't like portrait photos, you could flip them all so that they're all landscape, or the opposite. You can flip, 2 of them to be portrait, only 1 landscape. You can definitely play with this, move things around, but if you want to have the pages come out exactly the way that they look as the example, the instructions were so simple to follow. Everything is very specific. In some places they don't necessarily say, they don't give like a measurement that says this piece has to be exactly an inch down from here and an inch to this side or anything like that, but they're specific enough that they're very easy to follow, and you can really kind of piece them together and make them look virtually identical to the samples that they've created for you. So it was kind of fun. Sometimes it's just nice to have somebody else do the thinking, and all I had to do was the sticking and plonking. Here you can see me kind of, using some of that foam tape and just adding my own little extra flair. And I think if you are someone who scrapbooks all the time, you definitely are going to see these kits and start putting them together, and then you're probably going to come up with some of your own ideas and kind of take it in the direction that you want to take it. But it is kind of fun if you're just sitting, you need to do something with your hands. That's definitely something I struggle with a lot. So even if I'm watching TV or just listening to a book or listening to the radio, I still like to be doing something with my hands. And so this is kind of fun because there's some creativity to it in that you can move things around and you are building something, but the hard work has been done for you. So if you want to turn that part of your brain off and just focus on the show or focus on, your audio book, whatever it is, you can definitely do that and come up with really cool, nice, well-balanced, super fun pages. So, yeah, take that for, what you will. But I actually kind of enjoyed just being able to follow the instructions. And another thing I will say is if you are brand new to scrapbooking, the instructions are really great. You can definitely follow them step by step, and it takes you through the process of being able to layer things up and get that look that they accomplished in their sample. If you have been scrapbooking for a while, you don't need to follow the instructions. You can just look at the pictures, because just by looking at those pictures, they are very clear and very, good quality photos. So you can look at those pictures and probably figure out for yourself where everything's going to go. And so if you want to be even less finicky about it and more kind of free with it, you definitely could just look at the photos and piece things together and figure it out and still get that exact same sample outcome that they created for you. So you can go in whatever direction works best for you. Be more complicated, take it easy, add extra embellishments. If you have the rest of this collection or other bits and pieces of this collection, you can definitely switch things out, switch maybe, the titles or the words around to make the layouts suit your photos better, add extra embellishments if you need to. Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is they're super versatile and they're very flexible, and I surprised myself with how much fun I actually did have putting them together. I know, was it last year? Yeah, I think it was last year. I had one of the card kits, and they seem to be putting out quite a lot of extras with their collections. So take a look. If your store that you prefer to shop at doesn't have the page kits, doesn't have the extra card kits, especially in their vintage line, they have, I think it's called Vintage Linen, actually, is what the line is. And it's all different themes. So there's the vintage, there's a Christmas one, there's an Eastery one, there was sort of like a garden one, there's a whole bunch of them. But those types of lines that Simple Stories is putting out, they have page kits, they have card kits, they have all kinds of extras that go with it. So the stores that you're shopping at, if they're not carrying them, definitely pop over to Scrap Shots and see what you can grab, because they do have very similar elements, but you will get extras. You will, be able to expand the elements that you've already bought from the collection. You will be able to stretch them even further by adding all of these extra add-ons. So the card kit that I put together as a sample for one of the carnivals last year, I actually turned the cards into a mini album, and because I'm not generally someone who is going to send like summer cards, those were kind of the theme that we had when I was putting them together. So I turned them into a mini album, but putting the cards together it was so fun. I think I did show it as a short, not a full video, because I was actually at work when I did it, and that's how easy they go together. Again, all the instructions are there. You just follow the instructions. All of the elements are already created for you, and all you're doing is following the instructions and layering the different elements in the way that the instructions have laid out, and you add your own adhesive. You don't even need scissors. I only have my paper trimmer here because, again, I didn't have the photos, so I just wanted to have something, in this case just this white cardstock, to represent the photos, so that I was putting together a complete sample for Sandy to be able to showcase. But the cards are exactly the same. They come with all of the elements you need. There were even a few extra bits and pieces in case you lose something or you genuinely do just want to switch out one of the elements because you don't like the sentiment or whatever it might be. You literally punch them out and then you stick and plonk and build these pages. It's super, super simple, super easy, and I think that they're great additions. They're really good to give as gifts too. I think, we all have that person in our life who likes to get a little bit scrappy, but probably isn't going to go out and buy all the stuff and, put an album together, but maybe they might like to do a couple of pages. So yeah, it was just kind of fun. And you can see this second page has very similar elements, and the blue strip up at the top is the only element that kind of crosses from the right to left side. And so if you wanted to have the sides separated as two different layouts, you definitely could. You could actually take that blue strip that's at the top on this page and maybe shift it all the way over so that they don't connect when the two pages are together, and that would kind of separate the pages even more. You could take that background paper and actually twist it 90 degrees so that it doesn't have the two yellow edges connecting. If you have the two pages together, you could do the same thing with the other page as well and just twist it 90 degrees and then still follow the instructions, because the instructions aren't going to necessarily change based on what the background paper looks like. And then with that being said, you can fully keep these instructions. They do specifically point out elements within the collection, but you could find your own elements of other collections and just use the general design as another layout completely. So that would definitely work too. So the instructions are kind of nice to keep if that's something that you like to have. I know all of us at one time had our little binders filled with sketches and filled with recipes and filled with all that stuff. So if that's something that you like to do, these instructions can definitely create multiple pages. So that's kind of nice too. And so you can see I'm pretty much done. One thing I think that I would change, and probably will change when I do the next page or the next two pages, is I'm not going to pre-punch out all of the elements. And I think you would think that that's a great idea, and my brain told me that that was going to save me a lot of time and that just kind of made sense and that was a really good idea. But I was losing some of the elements, and yes, I could have them in a little bowl or have something that keeps them a little bit more organized, but I still felt like as I was shifting things around and kind of following the instructions, I was losing some of those elements. So I think I will keep them all on their papers and on the bit of chipboard and just pull the elements off as I need them, because they're already kind of stuck there and they're very easy to pop out of their background page. So it's not like it was super time consuming to go ahead and do that. But you can see here, this whole layout is done. Those pages are really super, super cute. I will get photos on them and kind of show you the whole thing when they're both completed. And the next two pages I will definitely do in real time so that you can see exactly how long it took me, and I can kind of talk you through my thought process and stuff like that. I'm adding some splatters because that's what I like to do, but that was the only extra that I added. And yeah, that is it. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you all again soon. So until next time, happy scrapping. Bye.